Mdot presents The Extra Mile with Paul and Waverly.
Welcome into another episode of the Extra Mile podcast. I'm your host, Paul Catul, and I'm joined by my co-host, Waverly McCarthy. How's it going, Waverly?
It's pretty good, Paul. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing awesome, and I'm super excited about today's episode. You know, we put a lot of time and effort and work into this. We're definitely rewarded by the first episode.
Absolutely.
Lots of listeners, lots of downloads, and we're super excited about today's episode.
Yeah, we've got some really great guests this week. We've got Mdot Deputy Executive Director and Chief Engineer Brian Ratliff. We talked with him about work zone safety and his experience here at Mdot. He's been here 25 years.
Wow.
It's a lot of roads have been paved in that time, and it was really cool to get to hear his experience.
No doubt. And we're hearing from one of our own in public affairs, Central District Public Information Officer Michael Flood. He's got a lot of updates to give us on projects like Highway 49, Rankin County, I-20 in Jackson, and some others in District 3.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to miss that one.
Nope.
So let's not waste any more time. You ready, Paul?
Let's go. Joining us is Brian Ratliff, Mdot Deputy Executive Director and Chief Engineer. Welcome in, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Brian, you've been with Mdot quite a long time. You're no doubt an Mdot guy and really invested in what we do here. Can you take us through the different roles you've had here at Mississippi DOT?
Sure. I graduated from Mississippi State with a degree in civil engineering in 1996. I started with the department straight out of college, and I started out at the Whitfield Project Office as an engineer in training, got my experience and passed the professional engineering exam and became resident engineer over the Whitfield Project Office, which oversees construction projects in Hinds, Madison, and Rankin counties. After that, I was promoted to district engineer for District 5. It's in Newton. Headquarters are in Newton. And basically was over 10-county area in the central to east central Mississippi, and stayed there for about 4.5 years and got promoted to chief engineer back in November of 2019, and have been serving as chief engineer since then. How's
that role been for you?
Well, I got to headquarters, and first thing they did, I got put in the hall closet over there for a temporary office. Once I got out of the temporary office, got started, and COVID hit. So I didn't get to do a lot of traveling. I do like, getting out and seeing the people, the women and men of Mdot, and seeing the projects that we're completing and improving the roadways for the traveling public. But COVID hit, and it's been a difficult time. We've had to adjust our work schedules. We had some people working from home. We had people that we couldn't put 5 or 6 people in a truck to go patch potholes. We had to distance those men and women that out there doing the day-to-day operations of maintaining the roadways. So it's just been a difficult transition. Hopefully we're coming out from the pandemic, but I know the numbers are up recently, and we're starting to see an uptick in the amount of people that we have tested positive for COVID. But we made it through it. Some things we excelled, and some things we didn't, and we learned from our mistakes. But all in all, it's been a trying time trying to get everybody, to protect everybody from the COVID stuff.
Yeah, and so with COVID, the world basically, shut down. But here at Mdot, that's not really an option. So can you talk about what you've seen and how our crews have continued to work for the people of Mississippi through COVID?
Yeah, and like I say, we couldn't stop patching potholes. And we challenged each district to come up with a plan to make sure that we were doing what our main function is to provide a safe and efficient traveling roadway out there to move freight to and from. So we challenged each district to come up with a plan to get the work done but also, taking into account that COVID was there, limiting people, the amount of people in each truck was a big deal. Providing traffic control was a big deal. We had people that got tested positive for COVID, and our family member did, and of course they had to quarantine, so we had to mix crews together to get the jobs done, and we had to prioritize things and take the most dangerous thing first and let some of the other things go that we didn't have the men or women out there doing able to do the job because they were being quarantined.
Brian, you just talked about the men and women that are out there on our roadways every day, building and maintaining a safe and efficient transportation network. Can you talk about how dangerous it is, their jobs kind of on a daily basis?
Well, absolutely. Especially working on the interstates, you got real high speed traffic. If they're doing the speed limit, they're doing 70. Most of them are doing 75 to 80. And, we're working within literally feet, inches away from, the vehicles going by. And, we always talk about put that cell phone down. Any distraction, you can veer over and either, hit somebody or hit a barrel and knock it, into a person. But it's really dangerous. You got to always, when I was out in the field, I always looked at it as, plan your escape route. I always tried not to put myself in too dangerous of a situation, but, situational awareness. And, of course, we have our Mdot safety program that we talk about these things, and we preach it each day that we want everybody to come home at the end of the day and get to their family and do what they like to do.
What else can the traveling public do to keep our people safe?
Well, I think we do an excellent job as the department of trying to get the word out of what upcoming work or lane closures we have. You can visit, mdottraffic.com to get the alerts on, the upcoming lane closures in your area. We got the Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff, and Twitter that we do a good job of pushing that out there. To check those outlets and understand that, hey, look, we're out there, we're trying to provide you with a safe and a smooth road, but there's going to be some inconveniences. So go ahead and check those outlets and be able to plan your route to give you a little extra time where you won't be late and be rushing to try to go around a cone, to go around a stop sign or a flagger or something. That you just need to be patient and, like I say, just obey the speed limit and put that phone down. Any distraction is a danger.
Okay, so MDOT's goal is always safety, and safety for the traveling public and safety for our workers. And, just reiterating to our listeners and to the traveling public that, the safer that they can be on the roads and the safer they are for the workers, the safer it ends up being for them.
Absolutely. I mean, we're there to protect everybody, not only our workers, but, we want all our work zones to be safe to be able to, maneuver through to get to where the public needs to go.
And just to reiterate, these are the men and women out on the roads. These are moms, dads, brothers, sisters. These are real people, and we've had, unfortunately, deaths recently, injuries. I know recently there was one of our guys that lost a leg. Correct? Can you talk a little bit about how these are real people and with real families?
Absolutely. About 3 months ago, I guess, we had an employee that got called out, in the late hours of the night. We had a tree fell across the road, and he responded. He was out of his truck, and he was cutting the tree up to get it out of the road, and a vehicle came from the other side of the work area and ran through the tree and hit our guy, and he was rushed to the hospital, and it was touch and go for several days, and he got better, but the doctors had to amputate his leg. And I guess me and Colby Willis started a support group at Mdot for things that happen to our employees, to help the family while they're in need, and it's been a great thing.
I think it speaks a lot to how Mdot's a family, and how we look out for one another, and how that from the top down that there's support for all of Mdot's employees.
Absolutely, and like I say, I'm an old field guy, and I know what the men and women out there that really are the boots on the ground workers, that what they go through, and being there to support, you call them a teammate or a family. We've really became good friends with this family. His mother, his wife, his 3 kids. To learn about his personal life has been great to me, and I was glad that he was able to share that with us, and I'm glad that we were able to go over there and meet the employee and his family, and it's real. I mean, it really is real that to see that one of your family members are hurt and they need your help, and I'm glad we were able to do that.
Absolutely, that's great.
Brian, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
You could maybe just reiterate, just put that phone down, right, and just drive.
Absolutely. Just put that phone down, and we want you to make it safe to your destination, and we want to be able to go home at the end of the day to enjoy our family and friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Litter costs Mississippi over $3 million each year to pick up. We've all seen masks and other PPE litter recently. Masks are important in keeping everyone healthy, but they need to be disposed of properly. If you wear a disposable mask, throw it away when you finish wearing it. Don't throw it on the ground. Place used masks in a trash can, and remember, put litter where it belongs. Don't trash Mississippi.
We now have Mdot Public Information Officer Michael Flood in the studio. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Hello, thanks for having me. Big podcast guy, thanks.
Michael, you've been here 11 years. You're really the old hand at Oracle.
Can't believe it.
Just have a ton of institutional knowledge. What do you like about working at Mdot, and what has your experience been here over the years?
Oh man, I always feel like I'm the youngest person here still, even though I'm not anymore, obviously. But it was always like that when I first started out. But yeah, I mean, I've been a part of some pretty, the Katrina plus 10, the Katrina anniversary in 2015. That was the 10-year anniversary. That was a big year for us, and I used to cover the southern part of the state, and had a great time covering District 6 and 7, and still talked to everyone down there. And that was a big milestone moment. And then speaking of milestones, in 2016, a year later, we had the 100-year centennial for Mdot. That was a big year for us, and those are probably the two in my public affairs career highlights that stick out the most. And then in 2018, getting to work with Commissioner Hall for his final 2 years, I mean, that was just invaluable experience being able to work under the man. I mean, he is you still see his efforts at Mdot. You still see what all he's done, here, and everybody here really appreciates him, and yeah, it's been an awesome time. My favorite thing about working in Mdot is no doubt the people here and the family atmosphere, and I get really passionate talking about Mdot workers, and from roadside workers to admin workers to everyone in between, leadership. We've just got. I mean, it seems like every time there's somebody else that comes in, they just fit right in, and they're great to work with, including all of y'all. And it is definitely my favorite part of Mdot.
Okay, so we're gonna jump right in, and I'm gonna ask you the question that I'm sure everyone wants to know: what's happening with Highway 49?
All right,
in
49.
County?
Man, I'm very proud to say we're making lots of good headway on 49. So, for those that don't know, we're reconstructing and widening about 7.5 miles of Highway 49 between Florence and Richland. So, it is a major project. And when I say reconstructing that highway, we're reconstructing the roadway, bridges, drainage, removing a lot of concrete pavement and medians, and updating crossovers. In all of the intersections. So it is a major project, 7.5 miles long, and they are making good headway on it. We've got crews, have switched traffic onto the newly constructed outside lanes. So if you're driving through there, you'll be able to see a lot of this progress that we're making. So we've got about another year or so left on it. So we're looking forward to wrapping it up by the completion date of the end of next summer.
So 49's been going on for a while. A lot of people drive that road every day, and they've been seeing it. And what's something that you can tell them that why this work's taking so long?
Right. So this work did begin in 2017, and it has been a long time coming. We're very happy to be approaching the end of it, but we did have to make some adjustments due to the type of soil that is located throughout the area. Understand that we had feds come in and look at it with all of our guys, and they all agreed that if we want to fix this roadway long term, that we've got to address the soil issue. So this extended the project about a year, and of course all the rain we got in 2018 and 2019 did not help either. But fortunately, crews are making significant progress today. If you drive through there today, you'll be able to see it. And we've got traffic on the newly constructed outside lanes, and there's a new signalized intersection at Gunter Road. So we appreciate everyone's patience in allowing us to get this done. There's a lot of businesses located throughout there, and a lot of utilities that need to be relocated, and and driveways that we got to work out. And so it's just a 7.5 mile project of one of the most heavily traveled highways in the state. So it is definitely an undertaking, and we appreciate everyone's patience in letting us get it done.
Yeah, and it's gonna be pretty amazing when it's done.
It is.
And so we got 49. That's a big project in central Mississippi, and you cover central and western Mississippi.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the central part of the state, District 5 from Jackson to Meridian, and those counties in between, and then the western part of the state as well, District 3. A lot going on in both.
Well, so in District 5 in central Mississippi, another big project is I-20. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Absolutely. This is probably the biggest project I've ever been a part of at Mdot and watching take place. And we're talking about it at a good time because we just got traffic switched onto the newly constructed I-20 eastbound bridge. So what they're doing is replacing the I-20 eastbound bridge that spans Highway 51, 55 South, and the railroad in Hinds County. So the crews just built a larger adjacent bridge structure on a new alignment that will replace that existing bridge. So the existing bridge will be demolished afterwards, but there's a lot of other work that goes into it. It includes new construction and widening along I-20 eastbound for the new alignment, and I-55 northbound for the new bridge. And there's, again, new roadway alignment, and they're updating a lot of the ramps. Additional work includes the slide repairs, slope stabilization along the railroad, and we've got ITS installations as well throughout that whole area. So you'll also see a lot of headway on that if you drive through I-20 right now.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for the updates on those projects. I know you've been living and breathing them for quite some time
Absolutely.
now, and looking forward to finishing those up. Are there any additional projects in central Mississippi that you'd like to touch on?
Of course, yeah, we've got a lot going on. We've covered a lot in D5, and another big one, and we're replacing a bridge right now on State Route 19 over the Kentucky Canal tributary in Neshoba County. That began in May, and crews are making progress on that. So if we're moving over to the western side of the state, just to highlight some stuff we're doing over there, if a lot of people remember last year, a car hauler struck a sign truss over I-20 in Vicksburg that we had to completely remove it because it damaged the foundation bolt. So we recently got that new sign truss back up, and you'll see it if you're traveling I-20 in Vicksburg. Just down the road from there, on the frontage road, we're doing an extension of the I-20 frontage road. So that is a major undertaking that's moving along well. What it's going to do is extend the existing south frontage road from Old Highway 27 to Highway 80 in Warren County. So in addition, there's going to be 5 bridges that are on I-20 within the Vicksburg city limits that are going to receive new bridge railing and other minor repairs. So work on those bridges won't start until the frontage road is complete. But Just south of there in Jefferson County, we're doing a slide repair on Highway 61 southbound that's just almost complete. So that is just north of the Adams County line. We recently completed some overlays on Highway 82 from Hughes Street to Woodlawn Drive in Greenville. And we also got a new District 3 engineer that I'm very excited to work with named Earl Glenn.
Yeah, I've actually, we're up in Greenville and saw that overlay, and it looks really nice.
It does, yeah. And I know Commissioner Simmons will be happy to see that. That's all up in his area.
Yeah. And so you mentioned a little bit about the new district engineer in District 3. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Absolutely, yes. Earl has been with Mdot 23 years, and I believe he spent 10 years at the project office and then 13 years in the construction division. So he's going to manage all District 3 operations, from maintenance to construction, project development, traffic operations. So he'll be covering that Mississippi Delta region. We're in good hands over there with Earl, and we miss Durwood, and we appreciate Durwood. Graham was our former district engineer there. We appreciate all of his efforts and work over the years, but very much looking forward to working with Earl and the District 3 crews as well.
Sounds like lots of really great work's getting done.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
Absolutely, and I know we talk about this a lot, but work zone safety, what can we do to keep our people safe?
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. In both of the first two projects we talked about, I-20 and 49, although they're making a lot of progress on those and traffic's on the new I-20 bridge, they're not quite done, and there's going to be about a year of work left on both. And they are at the end, or towards the end of each of those projects. And there's a lot of equipment's going to be out there. There's going to be lane closures associated with those projects. There's still going to be some ramps that are closed and crossovers closed. And most importantly, there are going to be workers out there for the next year. So not only through these two projects, but all of the projects we have going on throughout Mississippi. Keep an eye out, please, for our workers. Put down the phone, especially traveling through these work zones. Slow down. Stay alert. Stay alert. Pay attention to these posted signages. And majority of fatalities that happen in work zone, I understand, are to the driver themselves, not to the workers. So protect yourselves as well as our workers. We want everyone going home safe. So
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We learned a lot, and really glad to have you.
Thank y'all. I really enjoyed it.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Extra Mile podcast. And if you want to hear more, don't forget to subscribe and download wherever you get your podcast.
Oh yeah, keyword, subscribe and download, please. And we want to give a special thanks to our wonderful guests, Central District Public Information Officer Michael Flood, and Mdot Deputy Executive Director and Chief Engineer Brian Ratliff. We also need to give special thanks to our editor Drew Hall. He's great. Also great, our producer Katie Hornsby. And a big thank you to our listeners for tuning in wherever you are. We'll catch you next time. And remember, as always, drive smart out there on Mississippi highways.